What's going on YouTube? Sif checking in, and honestly everybody, this was a very tough video to make because it's not like I expected this type of situation to not occur, but whenever this type of report comes out every single year, not only is it a reminder to me and all of us as fans of how cruel the NBA business life is like, but more importantly, for all of us basketball players who have played basketball at a competitive level, whether that be elementary school, high school, rep basketball, house league basketball, AAU, the list goes on and on. When a person puts their whole life or a majority of their free time into the game, one day you just wake up to find out what these two fellows found out today, thereby putting your whole future in shambles. That is really, for lack of a better word, it's really sad. With that being said, for those of you that don't know what I'm referring to, earlier today we received via Twitter or any other social media platform that the Raptors have finally decided on their 12-man roster for the 2024 to 2025 season, and unfortunately Jahmi'us Ramsey and Brandon Carlson, among others, were waived from the Raptors team. It's really unfortunate because those two players, they played their hearts out during this 2024 preseason, and you could really tell in their faces that they really wanted to be on this team. But I decided that not only was this breaking news, but I had to dedicate a video to talk about these guys. So that's what this video is for. So without further ado, let's get started. First off, we got Jahmi'us Ramsey. And honestly, this guy is a very special player to watch because he reminds me of a mix of De'Aaron Fox and Gerald Green, because both of those guys, they are really bouncy, but they also they know how to make acrobatic layups and know when to actually use the burst of energy to make a solid play. And that's what I felt when watching Jahmi'us Ramsey, because for Jahmi'us Ramsey, he always had that attack mode where no matter what situation, he's looking to attack, and in turn he's trying to get the opponents to call fouls on him or try to draw fouls so that he can go to the free throw line, which in most situations is good. But unfortunately, in Darko's system, it seems that is not the case, because Darko likes to play in a more keep passing, move the ball around, cut, score, that type of thing, which seems to offset Jahmi'us Ramsey's playstyle. Now with that being said though, in terms of his strengths, I would say his strengths, number one is his explosiveness. Number two, he has a good variety of shots to choose from. We've seen him attack the glass. We've seen him shoot threes. Granted, they're bank shots, but they're still threes. We've seen him shoot mid-ranges. We've seen him do defensive stops. So he has a wide variety. And number three, I would say he's very honest about his shot selection. Now you're probably wondering, what do I mean by honest with his shot selection? If you notice in the NBA, they shoot it because the timer is running out or the shot clock is running or whatever, and they're just, for lack of a better word, they're heaving it. But then after they go back on the other side of the court, they're like shaking their head like so, or they're getting angry at the refs, or like they're getting angry at the coaches, or like the fans, or like anybody. And because of that, it just spirals out of control to the point where they just end up getting benched and they end up regretting that decision for the rest of their career. But in Jahmi'us Ramsey's case, I don't think that's the case for him, because no matter what type of shot selection he's deciding, he's going full throttle with it, which is honestly respectable, because it just shows that he has that dog in him and he's really committed to making sure that his shot goes in no matter what. Now with that being said though, in terms of his weaknesses that he had in all the games up to now, the first weakness is even though he has a wide variety of shot opportunities, whether that be mid-range, three-pointers, driving to the basket, dunks, whatever, I think that he still needs a little bit more work in terms of when to utilize it, because a lot of it comes not from the skill but more from how the game is played. Because at the NBA level, any player that plays in the NBA, they're basically playing a 4D chess game in their mind, because not only are they thinking about how they're supposed to shoot the shot or what they're going to do with the ball on their hand, but they're also thinking about, okay, who's my opponent? How are they going to come and stop me? And if I'm attacking at the rim, are they going to come and block me from behind, or are they going to trap one of my teammates to prevent me from kicking it out? And the list goes on and on. So with all this being said, for Jahmi'us Ramsey, I feel that when he had the ball in his hand, he was a little too slow in terms of processing the information, to the point where by the time he finished processing, all the opponents started collapsing on him. So now not only is he unable to get his shot off, and he's shooting like a contested shot, which we've seen, like sometimes he would shoot contested threes and it would just hit the backboard and not go in, and also it will not allow him to get any pass offs. And in the preseason, that is very huge, because in the NBA, everything is predicated on the shot clock. I'm saying this to say that for Jahmi'us Ramsey, he needs to work on his IQ in terms of what to do in certain plays, because I feel that was holding him back and from really letting him explore his true potential as a player. Now the second reason is, continuing off that, whenever Jahmi'us Ramsey goes to attack the rim, if he can dunk, he always does an acrobatic layup, which is fine when we have a lead or a comfortable lead. And the only times we would have that, unfortunately, in our current situation as the Raptors this season, since we're quote-unquote rebuilding, is if one, we're playing an even weaker team, or two, everything seems to be going our way to the point where no matter who steps on the court, they're instantly giving us a positive contribution. Only in those two circumstances would that acrobatic layup package work that Jahmi'us Ramsey has, which unfortunately, as things seem to be right now, I really don't think that's the case for us this season. Because if anything, this season is going to be a very surprising season, more so because, not because we're going to do worse than last season. I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to do much better. In fact, I feel like we're going to be a playoff team, assuming everyone's healthy. But the point is, I feel that unfortunately for us, this season is going to be a lot of tests. And unfortunately, we don't have time for like flashy layups and things of that nature. Now with that being said though, in terms of Jahmi'us Ramsey's future, there are two possible futures that I think could work for him. Number one, he stays with the Raptors G League, which is the Raptors 905, and continues to work. I personally think this is the best option for him because one, he's already been part of the G League team, so he already knows the coaching staff, the medical team, the whatever, and based on the footage that he probably has from like all the preseasons that he's played in, preseason games that he played in, as well as all the practice he's done, he knows exactly where he needs to focus on in terms of how to improve, and he just continues to work hard in the G League. Obviously, he's going to be going to their games, the G League games, which is going to be on a different schedule than the Raptors, so it's going to be tough that way, but he goes to their games and gets stronger, and hopefully he gets a call up from the Raptors sometime this season, whether that be when the trade deadline comes, when the All-Star game comes, or when people, God forbid, when players get injured. But whenever a situation comes, maybe he'll get a call up to prove himself, and hopefully that will like sort of solidify his place on the team. On that note, the other option he also has is to go for another team and play with their group of players. But just it's common knowledge that when you go to another team, especially in this type of situation, one, they're going to be only basing you off like your explosiveness in his case and like what he's seen so far. And he's on a very strict timeline because the call-ups from the G League to the NBA, from what I've seen so far in past seasons, the time to prove oneself is very, 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 very limited. I would say like about 1 to 2 games at most. And for the vast majority of people, at most they're getting 5 minutes of playtime. So you need to show your whole talents within 5 minutes, and that's a difficult task. But it's something that if Jahmi'us Ramsey decides to go to another team, he'll have to consider that. Finally, we gotta talk about Brandon Carlson. And man, oh man, when I heard about this news, I was flabbergasted. I mean, I didn't know what to think at the time. Because for me, going into this 2024 to 2025 Raptors preseason, I had 3 people that I really was interested and wanted to see make the team. The first one was Jamal Shed, which he made, so good for him. Number 2 was Ulrich Chomchi, which he also made, so good for him. And number 3 was Brandon Carlson, which, as you probably know, he did not make the team. But as I continue to think about it, I kind of understand where the Raptors management is coming from. And that simply is because when you compare Brandon Carlson to the potential players that he's going to be facing against on the Raptors, I'm talking in center position. We're talking Jakob Poeltl, Ulrich Chomchi, Bruno Fernando, Chris Boucher, and Kelly Olynyk. All of these 5 players, other than Ulrich Chomchi, all these other 4 people, they have multiple years of NBA experience under their belt. That means, 1, for centers, they're more physically able to do the task at hand. Number 2, their IQ is much better because they know exactly when to go for a rebound. And number 3, they know how to move the ball around, which I think comes with NBA experience. Honestly, that's all at the bottom line you'll need as a center. To be at the right place at the right time and make the most of your minutes. If you can do that, good things will follow. And that was what Ulrich Chomchi did. And unfortunately, because of that, Brandon Carlson got the backseat, and this kept on spiraling on and on and on, and eventually we ended up to this conclusion where he got waived by the team. Now, with that being said though, this is also a Brandon Carlson video. So we're going to be talking about his strengths, which are number 1, as I said before, he's a 7-foot player with a 3-point sniper. I think that is super important in this current way of playing in the NBA, because NBA is now predicated not completely, a good portion of the game is 3-point shooting, and you're going to see a lot of teams adapt this play style, not only because Steph Curry and the USA basketball team, they won the Olympics playing this way, but also the Boston Celtics, who won the recent championship, they played as a collective using the 3-point style, which is fine because they're doing it as a collective. But what happens is, now because they won the championship, other teams, I think, is going to try to copycat them, which for Brandon Carlson could be a benefit, because he will have so much more opportunities to make his presence known. The second thing he has going for him is he has a very good defensive mindset. In terms of everything that he does on the defensive end, it really stands out. And the third thing that goes unnoticed about Brandon Carlson is his mindset to the game. What I mean by this is, for most NBA players, whenever a situation doesn't go right for them, what do? Usually go and complain to the refs, which could work, but you gotta have fame that comes with it. And even with fame, like you see LeBron and all them, they complain to the refs about a call that they made, and the refs really don't care anymore. So if this is the way the NBA is played now, and people are constantly going at the refs for every missed call that they have, having a person like Brandon Carlson, who no matter the situation, he just shrugs it off and continues to play. Like, never once has this guy went up to the ref after bad call and started complaining to his face. Instead, he just plays natural, let all the things come to him, and not complain to the ref, knowing that the next opportunity will be much better, which is a really good mindset to have. But with all these strengths in place, the two weaknesses that he had are the biggest things that stopped him from making this team. And the first one is his lack of strength. I know, this is a very minuscule thing, but it's something that is very important, especially with the center position. Because, as I said before, the center position is right under the rim. When a person misses their shot, it's the center or a center's job, or the power forward or small forward, to go and get the rebound for a second possession, offensive rebound, or like to start the fast break. And what you need to do that, you need muscle. Unfortunately, for Brandon Carlson's case, the guys that he's competing on the Raptors team, such as Jakob Poeltl, Chris Boucher, and Bruno Fernando, those guys have muscles in spades because of their years and years of NBA experience. Now, and you couple that with the second point being he's only reliant on his three-point shooting, which is not really going to work on its own, because if he had another layer to his game, whether that be he can attack the glass hard or he has a mid-range game, I would say that there would be a 75% more chance that he would be able to make a roster spot. Now, with that being said though, in terms of Brandon Carlson's future endeavors based on this situation, I really feel in my heart and hearts that he should really commit to the Raptors 905. I know this may seem like the cop-out option because I don't want the players to leave. But in Brandon Carlson's case, Raptors family, we cannot let this guy go to another team. I'm sorry, like there's just no way. Just off height alone, we cannot teach 7 feet. No matter how much skill a person has or what their skill ability is, height is one thing that is God gifted. When we have a 7-foot player who can shoot threes like he does, I think that combined with the development staff that we have at the Raptors 905 and like Brandon Carlson all continuing to be in the gym and getting stronger and having more, building more layers to his game, I believe a call up from the Raptors 905 to the Raptors main team is very much possible and could be happening. I would hope this season, God forbid, if there's something happening with the Raptors, whether that be injuries, or any types of trades that are going to be happening, whether that be, I'm hearing Chris Boucher might get traded, or seeing how Bruno Fernando does, like things of that. If one of those centers that are currently on the Raptors team, they underperform or do not live to their potential, I could see a switch for where you have Brandon Carlson coming to the main team and then whoever is not doing good on the Raptors main team going to the G League. So I really feel that this is the best option to Brandon Carlson because it'll give the Raptors not only a way to undo the mistake that they made in my eyes, but it also gives Brandon Carlson another opportunity to prove himself in the NBA and help the Raptors continue to where they're going to go, which is ultimately to win a championship. Now, the other option he has is to, obviously he would need to go to another team and showcase his talents there, which just off being a 7 feet and a 3-point specialist, I think other teams would give him an offer to maybe play him as in a two-way deal or something. But the thing is, just like how he played in the preseason and summer league, when he goes to any other team, it's going to be a trial and error basis. And as I said in the Jahmi'us Ramsey portion of the video, when a person in the G League gets called up to another team, the opportunity for them to really showcase their skills is very limited. So that's all I have for Brandon Carlson. So yeah, no matter what happens for Jahmi'us Ramsey and Brandon Carlson, I really hope they have the best of luck in their future endeavors, whether that be with the Raptors 905 or if they're going to pursue another career, or like, when I mean another career, like they're going to take their talents to another team and like try to get into a roster spot on their team, and we'll just have to see what kind of decision they make. So with that being said, that's my 2 cents on the situation. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this type of video, and also let me know what are your thoughts on this news. So with that being said, as always, if you like this video, give me one of these. Smash the subscribe button and hit that bell so that you're caught up in all my videos, and doing so will help the algorithm help me tell you that my videos are important to you and to look out for them. So with that being said, this is all I have for this breaking news, and until the next video, Civ out.